أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for this interview. How should I call you? Mr. Muhammed, or do you have a last name?
Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah. Mo will do fine. Mohammed is a bit long. I noticed that everything is abbreviated these days. Well, a lot of things changed. I've been doing a lot of traveling lately.
Did you like what you saw?
Sort of. It's easy to get around these days. That way, it's easy to meet different people in different places. There's a lot of potential for understanding that way.
Well, Mo, talking about understanding, as you may know, there's a lot of discussion about Islam and the West, Islam and democracy, and of course, how your way of life reflects on Muslims living today. So, we are going to start at the beginning of your life, and later on, I would like to know what your view is on Islam today.
I understand that there is some confusion in the last, 1400 years. This gives me the opportunity to set things straight.
Is this an attempt to rewrite history?
Every historical character has been burdened with difficult facts and standards. Facts are not rewritable. Standards, however, can be.
But in your history, it's hard to separate facts from standards.
Yes, that's my tragedy. I'm the author, player, and also the witness of my own drama.
But whose drama is more tragic? That of you, or the tragic situation of millions of Muslims? In your tragedy, you were the director, but the players played on after you retired.
True, but I never completely left the scene. Let us start, and leave therefore the Rasul Allah, and release people of what I was, and of what I never want to be anymore. This is what you call emancipation. Or am I getting too complicated?
Well, let's make things more clear then. We start at the beginning. What is the name of your father, and what is the name of your mother?
My father's name is Abdallah ibn Abd al-Muttalib, and my mother's name is Aminah bint Wahab.
And what kind of man was your father? And what kind of woman was your mother?
I have little memory of my mother. When I was 6, she passed away, unfortunately. My father I never knew at all. He died before I was born. I was, in fact, an orphan.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was raised by my grandfather, Abd al-Muttalib, till the age of 8, and later on by my uncle, Abu Talib. It was a pleasant time, I can remember, playing outside with other children and talking hours with my uncle. He was the best father a boy could ask for.
So you had a nice childhood.
I guess you could say so.
Did you always know you would be a prophet someday?
I did have some dreams about it, but I didn't know what it meant at the time.
Can you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Well, that is a long time ago. Well, my uncle used to tell me great stories about a man named Jesus and his 11 warriors or something. I really wanted to be like him. And I think I lived up to the expectations. I met him. We are actually good friends. We hang out a lot together. We play poker sometimes. We both cheat a bit and have a laugh about afterwards. We don't play for money, of course.
I'm sure the Christian people are pleased to hear that two of you get along. If it's okay with you, I would like to rush forward through time. So now you are in your 20s. Did you have an education?
No, but I was streetwise. Life was my education. I was tired of living with no perspective. I wanted to do something for mankind, and of course looking for a good wife. I've seen so many interesting things on my way. Then I met Khadija. She was into trade caravans. She was a lovely lady. She hired me as leader of one of her caravans. At the age of 25, I married her. She was 15 years older than me.
Didn't that bother you?
In love, my friend, age has no meaning. When you are in love, everything is possible.
Well, you obviously have a large heart.
We don't have to exaggerate. I had also a large empty purse.
But you did have more than 20 wives at one point. Sahih Bukhari, one of your apostles, said that you used to go around and have sexual relations with all your wives in one night. Wow. Is this true?
Yes, something like that. But I thought you wanted to go through things chronologically. My first wife, Khadija, was a wealthy woman, and as a result, she became more attractive for me.
Was she your bank?
Yes, certainly. A bank with everything in it, believe me. Everyone has at one point dreamt of marrying a bank. And in those days, even more than now. Marriage was business. Marriage was politics.
And what about Aisha? You were 52 years old when you married Aisha at the age of 6. And you had sex with her at the age of 9. How do you explain that?
It's more complex than you and many people think.
Well, I have a quote from Aisha, and I quote from Hadith. And she said that I married the Prophet when I was 6 years old. And he consummated his marriage when I was 9. And I stayed with him till Allah's apostle died. So by all means, please explain to me.
Her father, Abu Bakr, was one of my closest allies. After the death of Khadija, my heart was broken. I was a lonely man. Her father was kind enough to let her marry me. And she was such a strong girl.
But did you ask her if she wanted to marry you?
No, I didn't. Her father gave permission for it. That was enough. Besides, she was so young. She couldn't make her own decision. That was common in those days, and unfortunately in some places on this planet it still is, in the 21st century.
And when she was 9 years old, did you ask her if she wanted to have sex with you?
These were different times. It was a tribal society. Many things were different back then. Mentalities were different. Life was different. People were different, and I was different. And you shouldn't forget that I, Rasul Allah, had special erotic privileges that common men didn't have. I had worldly powers, and I was only human.
Well, I'm saying this because in some Islamic countries, these practices still happen. What do you want to say to Muslims that do such a things?
Don't try this at home. No, but seriously, I understand for people living today it's hard to understand what was going on that period of time. But Muslims must understand that we are living in a new age. What I did is not something I'm necessarily proud of. Many things that were normal in those days, modern men would call backwards or inhumane. So my message to the Muslim society is, don't marry or have sex with a girl when she's not ready or when she doesn't want it. In my opinion, man and woman are equal, and so they must be treated. You can only be a Muslim by free will, and you can only marry by free will.
Says Muhammed in the year of our Lord 2008.
I'd prefer to call it the year 1429, if you don't mind.